This is a message to all my supporters of this podcast. I'm introducing a new supporters program. You can contribute a small amount as a one-off payment to show your love for this podcast. Thank you in advance for all your contributions.
Hi, my name is Mark Hayward. This is the Absolute Business Mindset podcast. I would like to just talk to you about one thing. There's kind of like a white elephant in lots of people's houses and rooms and things, is pressure. So it's incredibly important that you understand the types of things that give people pressure, because everyone will experience it. It doesn't matter if you're the calmest person. I take myself as being quite calm and quite rational, but under pressure, things change. You react differently to situations. So I would say it's incredibly important I'm going to break down sort of times where there might be pressure, which I've experienced, and hopefully give you insight on how to deal with those and improve your skill set on being able to deal with pressure, because everyone will experience it from some degree or another. So let's just start on something that most people who are dealing with any sort of project. So project deadlines. So there might be milestones, there might be client deadlines, there might be end of the project, and this is incredibly difficult to be able to deal with. You gotta think, you gotta empathize at this point. If you don't deal with the projects, that you've got to be able to deliver things. You've got to be able to over deliver and under promise. So it's incredibly important that you guys understand when there's deadlines, you need to work towards them. There have been projects which I haven't been involved in, but I'm aware of, that are sometimes delayed. That's okay if you can get agreement from all the stakeholders, which can be slightly difficult. It might be people internally, it might be external, it might be the client, it might be other stakeholders that have interests in it. So delays are difficult to deal with, but what you need to understand is that you've got to create a team, if it's a project, that is able to deliver that project on the given deadline. So it might be on a sort of on the end of the sort of Steve Jobs who gives people grief until they deliver something brilliant. It might equally be something a transformative leader who wants you to be able to deliver things, and that might be working till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever, every day for a month. That is pressure. That's being able to deliver things under high pressure, and that is difficult for anyone. If you believe in the leader, or you are the leader in impacting people, you've got to be able to encourage people and reward people as well for working tight deadlines and being able to deal with that pressure to deliver a product or service by a given time. The next thing I want to talk about is pressure that's provided by people. So it might be your boss, you might be on the flip side, you might be responding to a boss giving you pressure. Equally, that might be you giving people pressure. But your boss, there will always be, in most cases, you always have some sort of boss, unless you are CEO of a company. And then you might have pressure from stakeholders, from investors, from shareholders, etc. So there's always someone that you need to be accountable to. And that's different from a project, because a project is very much on a deadline. People giving you pressure because they might use techniques and tactics on trying to make you feel bad or make you feel guilty that you haven't delivered things on timeframes. You got to work out a pattern of being able to respond to your boss on these sorts of subjects. If he's a shouter, then maybe let him shout it out and then talk to him afterwards. If they are emotionally driven, if they get upset, then I would advise also to try and be non-emotional and deal with things calmly, and sort of rationalize the project or whatever it is that you want to speak to your boss about, who's giving you pressure. So one thing I've talked about, and I believe this in business, you need to keep a calm, rational brain. A lot of people that I work with are emotionally driven, and that can be a positive and is often a negative, in my opinion. And I think most people who are more successful than me would say that you need to use your rational cognitive brain rather than basing everything on emotions, because it's incredibly difficult to be able to think rationally and think strategically or think operationally or just be able to think if you're being based hugely on your emotions. It could be a pressure on needing to learn something very quickly. I've had a couple of examples of working with people, and they've given me a PowerPoint slide which I need to present the next day, and then I needed to learn all of the content and what I was delivering, and also what the other person was delivering. We were doing a double act, so you needed to know what points you came in at and what points he was prompted to speak then. So that's tough. It can also be learning a piece of software or learning a new management technique or something that's going to aid you in your career. And often these sorts of things are you need to deliver something very quickly and you need to learn it fast. It's a hard one, but I think it is something that you need to be flexible, and that might be the extra hours in the office. That might be it might be early hours in the day. It might be going home and then working from home for an extended period, whatever suits you, whatever works best for you. But in this case, when there's pressure to be able to learn something and deliver, it just takes time, and you need to be able to fashion out that period of time to be able to deliver what you need to learn and what you need to present or show or whatever it is. Now, we talked everything so far about business. I want to just do a flip side on pressure being put on by your family. Now, that could be a mother or father. It could be a wife, girlfriend, family, kids, and that's a really difficult one, because these guys hit your emotional spots a lot more than let's say people at work. So again. Try and be rational, but use a little bit more emotion than you would do normally. Maybe explain why you need to work late because of a deadline or a pressure that is being put on you. Give people some space to shout. As again, if you're married to a shouter, then maybe you need to let him or her release all of it and then sort of talk afterwards. Sometimes you need to apologise if you're working late because you've got to deliver something. Some people don't require that. It depends on what sort of person that you're married to, or your mum and dad or girlfriend, whatever it is, who's putting pressure on you. But with this side, I would say use a little bit more emotion and share why it's important or why there's pressure put on you because of your knowledge, your experience, your position, whatever it is. So keep that in mind. It's a good one. It's a really important one to be able to understand. And so I just think it's one of those things that everyone is going to experience at one stage or another from various degrees. Some people deal with it better than others. Some people respond badly and might get emotional. Some people might disconnect. Some people might regress into themselves. Some people might go for a coffee and need to rant it out with somebody. Whatever your way, you've got to be able to release that pressure. Now, that might be it might be speaking to a mentor or someone that is there for you to support you, a friend, a family member. You just need to find the right way. If you're being put under pressure for long periods, you've got to find an outlet. That might be exercise, it might be meditation. So all these pressures, these are incredibly important to be able to be aware of at the start that you're being put under pressure. So I've covered quite a lot there, and it's all under this umbrella of pressure. And it's one of those things, it's key for you to be able to understand and be self-aware about how you deal with your pressure and who you take it out on or who you respond to, who you need. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's a bit more deep dive than I thought I was going to. So, but I really like that I've gone into detail here because I think it's important that people appreciate however junior or senior you are, that you've got to be aware of yourself, aware of your pressure, and be able to deal with it positively. All right, Twitter, Mark Hayward 169, YouTube videos, obviously the podcast. Also, you've got Patreon, Patron. It's a new website which I've just joined. By all means, sign up and contribute to me giving this content. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, then leave it on the message. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
News, laws, and regulations are changing by the day. We get it. It's hard to stay on top of it all. That's why ADP is here to guide you with up-to-the-minute compliance expertise to help you navigate these complex times so you can pay your people accurately and on time, regardless of changes in legislation. When you rely on us for payroll and HR, you're trusting us to help you take care of your people. It's what we've been doing for over 70 years, and that's not about to change. ADP, HR talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people.